Hello, everybody. I want to take you to a passage of scripture that Pastor quoted recently on a Sunday morning that really stood out as this past Sunday morning. Daniel chapter 10, verses 10 through 12. And I'm reading from the ESV. And Daniel 10:10 says, "And behold, a hand touched me and set me trembling on my hands and knees. And he said to me, O Daniel, man greatly loved, understand the words that I speak to you and stand upright, for now I have been sent to you. And when he had spoken this word to me, I stood up trembling. Then he said to me, Fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand and humbled yourself before your God, your words have been heard, and I have come because of your words." This is such a powerful passage for what Daniel was facing in his life at the time, and I think we can take a lot of different lessons from it. But the reason it stood out to me is because during the fast on Saturday, we had a birthday party for my daughter Ellie, and I was helping to make different food and different things that looked really good and smelled really good, and I was fasting, and I had kind of determined from the start that I wanted to make it all the way through to the end of the fast, and it just got really challenging. It got really difficult, and I was standing there working on the food, and I was praying. I said, God, I need help. This is just harder than I thought it would be, or I just need help. And God, can you help me and give me some encouragement or direction here? And immediately when I prayed that, it was like in my heart. If you remember, Joel Urshan said at family camp that the voice of God is not necessarily an audible voice, but it's that voice you hear in your heart, if that makes sense. He said it a specific way, and I'm probably quoting it poorly, but as soon as I prayed that and asked God for help, it was like I heard in my heart, and it was like Pastor, like his voice saying, You're almost there. You're so close. And of course, I hear that and I said, okay, well, I've got to just keep going. I've got to make it. I'm close. And you all know the time frame. It was close. It was only 24 hours away, but 24 hours in the middle of a fast can seem like a long time. But that was the encouragement that God gave me, and it was very striking to me. And then Pastor preached from Daniel 10 on Sunday morning. Talked about how Daniel was what he was dealing with in his life, and this message, this devotion that I'm sharing, is not necessarily related specifically to fasting. That's not what I'm trying to say, but wherever we're at in our lives, whatever answer we're seeking or whatever promise we're waiting on from God, we can despair because Daniel was in mourning. He was maybe not in despair, but he was kind of in a low place when you read the beginning of Daniel chapter 10. And part of the reason why is in Daniel 10:1. There's a part of that verse that says, "The thing was true, but the time appointed was long." And I think maybe we've all been there. God has promised something to us, and it's true. What God promised is true, but it's taking a long time, and we're struggling with the time frame, and we're trying to make it. And sometimes we get discouraged, and sometimes we go to God in prayer and we say, God, I know you said this, but I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if I can get there. When am I going to see it? How can I get there? And it reminds me of one other scripture that has been one of my favorites for a long time. It's in Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3, and I'm going to read this from the ESV as well. It says this, "For still the vision awaits its appointed time. It hastens to the end. It will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay." So I want to encourage someone today, whatever you're facing, maybe it was something that you prayed for a long time and it never happened, and now the window is closed and you don't understand why it didn't happen. Or maybe something you've been waiting on a long time and it just seems like you're abandoning hope because it's been so long. Whatever the case might be, whether the promise was given to you 20 years ago or 20 minutes ago, I want to encourage you to, even if it seems slow, wait for it and trust God. And remember, you're almost there.